Hello and welcome to Columbus Local Podcast. This is episode number 104. I'm Len D'Amico, and tonight we have Tommy and Brandy Hettich.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great.
That's awesome. Thanks for having us. This is pretty awesome.
I'm glad you guys made it. I think we started talking at the beginning of the year. It's already March. I can't believe March, first quarter, 2025.
Flying. Yeah.
Flying, man. Absolutely.
We saw you at Buckeye Lake at the Winterfest.
Yeah.
And, people are like, oh, the podcast, you got to talk to these guys, man, because they got some good projects. You guys play around the lake, various forms of what you guys do musically.
Absolutely. We were kind of wondering why you'd want to talk to us, but just in the little pre-conversation we had,
No, it's good stuff.
We got a lot going on. It's pretty exciting stuff for sure. We have a blast with it.
You do have a lot going on. That's really kind of the cool thing about the podcast itself is this big accident here.
Tried to catch it. I tried to catch it.
But I think we'll be all right. I don't edit anything, so the big crash will hopefully not be an eardrum breaker. Yeah, so Tommy and Brandy, you guys are a couple.
We are.
We're
married.
You're a music couple.
Yes.
And you've been together doing music for how long now?
We've been doing music together for what, 10 years, 11 years?
11 years.
Yeah, 11 years. Yes.
That's so awesome.
Married for 2 years.
Been together for 8.
Yeah.
Sweet. And not necessarily in Columbus, but Columbus area. You guys perform in the Columbus area. Kind of, I would say, the outskirts of Columbus.
Yes.
Country, urban.
Lots of Buckeye Lake.
But
lots of Buckeye
We're
Lake.
all around Buckeye Lake.
All around Buckeye Lake. We hit the Ugly Mug and Canal, which is outskirts Columbus.
Finnegan's Wake.
Played our first show at Finnegan's Wake. So that's why we are officially a Columbus music scene now. We hope that we don't push. What's crazy is we never really push the bands to get out or up this way.
But you're getting pulled.
But we're getting kind of pulled, and it was something we kind of put off for years, and we kind of thought, you know what, it's time to play some new venues, and Finnegan's was one of the first ones, and we're hoping there's some more to follow. So
yeah, we had a good night, good time.
Good stuff. And so the bands that you guys are performing in, what are some of those names, and what are the names that you really are kind of known for?
So our full band is Sweet Misery cover band, and then we do Sweet Misery acoustic duo, just us two, and then we are also in a Pink Floyd tribute band called Hava Cigar. So we've got 3 things going on.
And Hava Cigar actually just played O'Neilla's up here in Columbus back in December. It was our first Columbus show for that band.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And, I would say the style of music in seeing Sweet Misery, which is the cover band, is kind of a thick rock vibe. Are all of your projects kind of that same vein of mix?
I feel like mostly our acoustic project, we go a little bit, we add some like Carly Simon and some more mellow things.
We even throw in some country, which none of the bands do. We don't cover any country in the bands.
Yeah.
But we'll throw in, we do
some
old
Willie
country,
Nelson.
some Willie Nelson, some Johnny Cash. We throw in some of that Johnny Paycheck. Like, I grew up on that old stuff in my house, where Brandy grew up on Zeppelin and stuff like that, which I love as I got into music and started playing guitar. Like Hendrix and Zeppelin was my first love of when I heard guitar. So, but I grew up on the old country stuff. So there was a part of me that still had love for that old stuff like that. So we throw a little bit of that in.
So cool.
In the acoustic.
Right,
yeah.
Absolutely.
We do some Neil Young,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, Tommy, for you, you're a guitarist, right? You've been playing how long?
I started playing guitar at probably 16, 17 years old. Like we talked a little bit earlier, I first learned to play piano when I was about 8 or 9. My sister was taking piano lessons, and we had this old upright in the basement. And I heard songs on the radio, and I would just go down and teach myself how to play the song, and my sister got pissed and just quit. So the piano then became mine. So I just was picking out, I'm thinking of stuff like Lean On Me and all the stuff that was kind of like someone did a remake, I remember, of Lean On Me, and I would just go down and pick that out and could play it in minutes. And
just from hearing it.
Just from hearing it on the radio.
She said, I quit. She said he came down and learned.
She was playing
Journey.
all this Journey stuff, and I'd go down and pick out those Journey piano parts, and she hated it. So, I mean, obviously she loves that I play now, but yeah, so she got frustrated and quit, and it kind of became mine. And in high school is kind of when I really got hit with the urge to play guitar.
Well, I mean, do you remember the stuff that you were listening to though? That got like kind of hooked you with the guitar, like because keys is one thing. Keys can be like almost I don't know. For me, it's almost an emotional connection, but
absolutely
for you,
you
got pulled elsewhere.
Back then, I mean, I was just kind of when I first learned to play piano, I was just playing like the covers that I knew. I couldn't really just sit and play. Like I didn't know enough about the instrument to just, I can sit down now and just play something. I don't have to be a song. Back then I just knew enough from ear just to play a song. But then I remember, like, I'll just give you this little quick memory. I remember in Zanesville, there's a roller rink called the Lind Arena. And we were waiting in line on a Sunday. I was there with a Sunday school group. And someone was working on their car in a garage about 2 buildings over, and they had I Want You to Want Me cranking on their stereo. And I heard that guitar lick, and I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. I want to be able to do that. And I never heard that song before, and I remember being taken back, like, I wish I could do that. And so that was one of my first things for sure, was hearing stuff like that and wanting to play guitar.
So cool.
How old were you when you heard that?
I was probably 13, 14 years old.
Very cool.
Man.
Yeah.
And you guys didn't know each other then?
Oh, no, not at all. No.
So that you guys came later.
Absolutely.
But for you switched to guitar.
Yes.
You started playing what?
So back about that age when I started actually playing around 15, 16.
Oh, man.
My sister and, of course, hair bands were just blowing up. I mean, it was Poison had just come out and all of that. And I remember riding around with her in her little Dodge Colt, and she had the very first Look What the Cat Dragged In cassette, and they're all done up in their makeup, and we're listening to like Talk Dirty to Me and all this stuff, and which we cover once in a while. And I looked at her, I said, my God, these girls are good. Like, these girls are really good. And no, she's like, those are guys. I'm like, what? Yeah. So that was the music. Like, it was Tesla, and I mean, my first rock concert was Tesla and Motley Crue right down in Legend Valley here back in, God, I don't even know what year that would have been, but I was probably 15, 16 years old.
Damn.
And so
how'd you get there to that thing?
My sister, yeah. So she went, and her boyfriend at the time, and we borrowed, my dad used to sell insurance, and we had this massive car. It fit like probably realistically 5 people, and we had about 12 in it to get to the show. And me and my buddy snuck in with my sister and all her friends, and we went to that show and just piled in. And it was, I remember it was the 4th of July, and I remember we all got sunburnt so bad. It was like 115 degrees that day, I think, and we all got burnt so bad.
Man.
But it was awesome.
I mean, you still remember, you're still talking about it.
To see a rock show like that, I mean, at 15 years old, to go to Legend Valley and see that show and that many people, like Motley Crue Tesla sitting right there doing their thing, that was pretty amazing back then.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's still with you, isn't it?
Oh,
I can tell.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he has a great memory.
Yeah. But it wasn't long after that, I probably, grunge come along, kind of killed the hair bands, and I liked it, but I didn't like it near as well. So that was about the time, 18, 19, I probably turned towards, just went huge into like Hendrix and Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and like all the stuff that probably inspired those guys, the old, hairband guys to play guitar, was probably learning off that stuff. So, and that's kind of always, like, blues has kind of always been my main. I mean, like right now, it's Gary Clark Jr. and Marcus King, like those guys just make me wanna,
Marcus King.
I just saw Marcus King over at Kimba a few months ago, and I literally leave there just wanting to throw my guitars on eBay. Like,
Dude.
why do I play?
I'm
Like,
telling
why
you.
do I even play?
We
when
got
there's-
to see Gary Clark Jr. at Red Rocks in Colorado.
That was amazing.
Amazing.
Have you been to Red Rocks?
I've been to Red Rocks when it was there was nothing happening there. In other words,
No
I was
concert.
I was in
Colorado.
Colorado. Well, it might have been in Arizona. I drove up
Okay.
because it was like a long trip. That in that part of the country, you like spending like a week or something, and we were close, kind of driving toward that. And so, long story short, I probably have photos of the stage empty with nobody in the stands.
Oh, I gotcha.
And that was it. But I wanted to see it because it was so close.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've never seen a show.
Oh my God.
You
We-
have to go.
You have to go, man. We went.
I want to see Big Head Todd and the Monsters.
They're there this summer.
They're always there.
Yeah.
Are they really always there? So we're going to go see, is it Goo Goo Dolls?
Goo Goo Dolls, I
Yeah,
think, in
we're going
August.
in
Because like
August.
2 days later, Teddy Swims is there, so we're thinking of just staying and doing a two for while we're there.
Damn.
So, but it was amazing. So we went out for days early and we hiked Red Rocks and then went to the Gary Clark Jr. show and then took off for the Rocky Mountains and spent a couple of days there. It was just an amazing vacation. It was awesome.
We have Megabeth in the peanut gallery. And she's quiet for a
Megabeth.
change. I can't believe it. She's got a big old smile on her face. Beth, you coming to Red Rocks for a concert, babe?
Absolutely.
Have you been? I can't hear you. Have you
No,
been?
I have not been.
No, you have to go.
No, we're gonna go. We
Bucket
haven't
list.
been together.
Bucket list.
Well, the Sphere might be another.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh my God. I
She,
want-
she saw you too.
I saw you too.
oh my God.
Took my
That's
ticket.
amazing.
She took my ticket.
Alanis Morissette is out in Vegas as well. I don't know if she's at the Sphere.
But I'm
or
glad
not,
she
but
did. I'm happy she took my ticket.
That would be
is-
incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, that just became our bucket list too. Is the Sphere.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Red Rocks is like the analog experience, and then Sphere is like digital.
Yeah.
Like the analog
Mm-hmm.
experience is Red Rocks.
The opener for Gary Clark, Can you remember her name? She was older blues
Probably
lady.
75.
Something
yeah.
Davis, because I remember it was either
Beth.
either- Mavis.
Something. Yeah. She
Mavis.
was a
the,
cool.
steel guitar.
No,
she's a
she
singer.
just sang. She was
Yeah.
a singer.
big voice lady.
Yes, big
Mavis.
voice. Beautiful.
Mavis
voice.
Staples.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yes. She's
killer.
Mavis Staples opened, and we're like, who the hell's this? And Red Rocks was so awesome, and the sound was so amazing. Like, she could have played for 4 hours, and I would not have cared. Like, it was amazing. She was so
Yeah.
good.
She's like Black Crows on steroids.
It was crazy.
We had
good.
perfect weather too, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That you did that. But for you, so how many? Where were you growing? And where were you getting your music? In your young days, kind of fueling up with this vein of music. Who were you seeing locally, Tommy? As a young lad.
As a young lad,
Were
there
you
was
hitting some of these venues that are, putting Columbus on the map back in
Oh,
the
yeah.
70s,
So-
80s, and 90s.
So like before kind of like, my 20s when I hit the kind of the blues stuff with Hendrix and Zeppelin, I was still in the hair band stuff. Me and my buddies, Gary and Jim, we used to live at the Alrosa. Like every Friday and Saturday, we just drove to Columbus, which is like an hour and a half from where we lived at the
Dude,
time.
that's cool, though.
We lived at the Alrosa. Like we were there 3 out of 4 weekends of the month. And we'd go up there and check out. Of course, back then it was so many good tribute bands. I mean, Crazy Train and Battery and all these guys that did the tributes to the bands we loved. But there was also a really cool local scene. And I was telling you earlier, I kind of stalked your page and saw some of the guys you interviewed. And so here's a quick awesome story about the Alrosa. So we're up there, and one of the bands, I'm probably 17 years old, 18 years old. And we're at the Alrosa, and one of the staples there was Saddleback Shark.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember one of the gigs up there, the guitar player was just freaking amazing, like one of the best guitar players I've ever seen.
Really?
Yes. I asked, like a lot of the bands that would play there, I'd ask for a pick. 'Cause we would always go right up front. I mean, we'd be right up
hell
on the
yeah.
stage. So I asked for a pick, and he hands me a pick. And it was purple, and it was in gold. It said Rob Johnson. So I put that pick in my pocket, and I'm 52 years old, and I still have that pick to this day. So
Dude, that's so freaking
to
awesome.
bring this kind of full circle, I'd never heard of Rob Johnson again until last summer, and Brandy and I is playing an acoustic show at Buckeye Lake Winery. And what's the lead singer for Long Play? We just saw him.
Devin.
Devin. His dad was at our show, who we just saw at Horvath's this past weekend. He's a great dude. Comes out and supports all the local music.
Very nice.
Oh, man.
And but he said, "Hey, I'm gonna go over. You guys should go over to the port. I'm gonna watch. These guys play. They're friends of mine, and the guitar player's really good. Rob Johnson." I'm like, Rob Johnson? You're not talking like Rob Johnson from like a long time ago, Saddleback Shark. He's like, yes.
There's only one Rob Johnson.
There's only one Rob Johnson. So we head over. Because the winery shows are usually early, they're like 6 to 9, and they play till 11 at the port. So we just bust ass to tear down, and we haul over to the port to catch the last set. So I'm sitting there and watching him. And I could tell it had been some years, but I could tell it was him. And especially the way he'd throw in those, they're just banging out awesome covers, but every once in a while he'll give you that little, those things he can, those shred riffs he can do, and
it looks so easy.
all that sweet picking and arpeggiated stuff. That's just like, I can't do that. And but anyways, so I talked to him after the show, and he was just blown away that I remember being 17 at the Alrosa and getting a pick from Rob Johnson that I still have that pick.
He loves when people like remember. And because, that was a great time in music.
Oh, it was the best.
Let alone locally, too. Some of these guys are still playing. Rob's one that's still out there playing.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. And the drummer of Saddleback.
John. He's in
Clubber
Lang as well.
Yes. So those two guys are at it.
Yeah, and didn't know until, obviously Rob and I have kind of reconnected, and we text and talk once in a while, but, they had a major thing going, like in Japan. They were like rock stars. Yeah. And really. And
they still are.
They still are absolutely rock stars, but yeah, but they were.
Magnitude 9. They're, after Saddleback, they moved into that international Japan.
Yes.
Yangwei, Shredder.
Yeah, Dream Theater-ish.
Dream Theater, progressive rock.
Yeah.
And really, did really well.
Yeah, he's really just amazing. And just so humble. To be that good and be that humble.
Sweetest guys
I've
ever met in
he's
your
very
life.
kind.
They're all great dudes. And I've just gotten to know Seth well. And
good.
So actually, I don't know if you stuck around, but at that show, the Winterfest you came to, I was several beers in, we'll just say that. And Seth brought me up because I always request Suspicious Minds by Elvis because they do that tune. And so he pulled me up, and I do a halfway's decent Elvis. And
I saw you, man.
And so I come up and did that with him. That was such a blast for me. And those guys are just really, really cool, man.
Yeah.
We love those guys.
Dude, they are all sweethearts.
Yeah.
You can tell for sure.
They're just the best guys, and they're awesome musicians, and they're hugely supportive of everybody.
Oh yeah,
and everything that's happening.
He's always liking our
posts,
liking our gigs. I mean, anything we post, like Rob's liking it and Clubber Lang's liking it. That's awesome. And we've always done the same. Like when Brandy and I's not playing, we're at the lake supporting all the other bands. Like that's when our downtime, we go watch music, and that's what we do.
So do you know my high school friend Judge Trimmer?
We do.
From the lake?
We do, yeah.
We talked a little bit about this earlier, but he's a dear friend of mine, and he does a lot out there, and the weekends are a lot of music for him and his wife, and I know that he's friends with Horvath's.
Yes, that's how we met
Mr. Horvath.
Yeah.
That's how we met Judge Trimmer, was through Tom, the owner of Horvath's Harbor. Just all those people. I mean, like we've been so blessed to.
The lake is such a wonderful. It's kind of its own economy
and its own community.
Yes,
an engine
sure.
of activity.
It is, man.
And it's all like very inclusive of music.
Yes,
we've met so many wonderful people through playing at the lake.
Yep. And what's funny is when we started the band, we were just playing. There was a few bars around New Lex where we lived that you could go play, and that's what we were doing. And when we started the band, Brandy said her goal was just, I want to play one show at the lake.
I said Buckeye Lake.
That's her goal.
I want to play on the lake.
We want to get to the lake and play a show at the lake. we played that first show, and we've never left.
Never.
So
yeah, we're there I think every weekend this year. Yeah,
pretty much a staple around the lake. I mean,
Love that. And which band?
fun.
All the projects you guys are doing?
So Sweet Misery plays a lot at the lake. Our acoustic duo, which is Sweet Misery Acoustic Duo, we're there
Year-round.
Year round.
Yeah, the duo never stops. Like we play the boatyard year round, like even all winter long. We play in the port. We play big stands, like all those. We even do indoor winter shows because obviously you can't play the outside stuff. But for the band, they're too small. But
Horvath, we play
inside. So her and I, the duo, plays around the lake all year round. And then once kind of May hits, it's pretty much band shows till September, and we just try to pound them in.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah, we get a lot of private parties at the
lake.
Yeah,
people see us and just want us to come play their event.
Hey,
Which is a lot of fun. We get to meet a lot of cool people that way as well.
Yeah,
that's my favorite thing. All the nice people we get to meet.
So when did you guys met about 11 years ago ish, give or take? And yeah, you don't have to talk. We don't have to get into all that.
No, we knew each other. We knew each other through my mom.
Yes,
actually, mutually through my mom, and then we started playing music together. Probably 12 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, about 12 years ago. He kind of I started singing out with one of my friends, Corey Brown, just acoustic. He played acoustic guitar and had me getting out and about, singing in front of people, which I never thought I would do. And then we brought Tommy in for a couple shows, and then we started a band.
And which band did you start?
Well, Sweet Misery actually started out as Split Second Eternity for like
2 shows.
1 or 2 shows.
It was 2.
We didn't like that name. And
Too
then,
long.
Yeah, didn't stick. Couldn't remember it.
Right.
And then Sweet Misery, it's been ever since.
Yeah, actually the guy that came up with that name left the band, and that's when Sweet Misery. That was 2011, and Sweet Misery formed in 2012 with like really 3 new members.
Yeah.
So, but
and we've had new members. We've had members come and go.
Drummers have come and gone over the
as
years,
bands
and
do,
bass
and
players, and usually the rhythm player has come and gone at times as well. Yeah. So we went from 4-piece to 5-piece back and forth, and right now we're back to 4. So there's been so many versions of it, but they've all been fun. We've appreciated it all. So
it's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And have you and so I don't think we said, but Tommy, I've been, I think, focusing on your story. Poor Brandy.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, no.
So,
trust me, that is okay. He is a way better talker than I am.
We can shift some focus here.
That's
so I was
okay.
thinking, so Brandy, so have you been singing? You're a vocalist. You sing. Mm-hmm. Do you play any instruments?
I do not. No.
And I think we got keys and guitar and some vocals with Tommy. Is that
for sure?
Yeah.
Anything else besides that?
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a bass player, but I play enough bass to like lay some tracks down on a demo or something. But yeah, never done that out in a band, but wouldn't be opposed to it at some point one of these days if the situation was right.
Oh man, yeah. I think you have to be kind of drawn into that, to wanting to do that. Yeah. Just my own opinion.
I definitely hear
from my own personal experience.
I definitely hear the bass lines very well. I feel like
Yeah.
I'd pick them out pretty well, but I don't know that I have the best hands for a bass player.
I feel like even during practice, he can pick out everything. You can pick out the drums, the bass, the guitar, the keys. You're really good at that. You hear it all.
Well, thanks, babe.
That's pretty cool.
You're welcome. I hear the vocals.
You do.
Yeah. The lyrics.
And she'll point that out if a word's wrong in a lyric.
He does mess up his lyrics.
It's weird, because for me, I used to hear the horn line, and if I were playing lead, I would like sort of
emulate the horn line on the guitar.
Being a horn person on the guitar, but with bass, excuse me, you're locked in with the drummer. I don't care what the guitar player's doing. It's really weird.
Right.
Like, it's a weird mind game that I've kind of experienced. So it's been kind of fun. But for you've been, so back to Brandy. Enough about me. This is about my podcast.
Oh no, this is awesome. We want to hear about you. We want to learn about you as well.
The Tommy and Lynn podcast.
No, it's Brandy now.
I'll just sit here and drink my wine.
So I know, and Megabeth has just been pouring the
She
wine,
is
hasn't she?
pouring it, yeah,
You know,
that's-
I
She's a
get a
great
bad
host.
rap because everybody's like, pregame's like pretty heavy. I'm like, it's the Megabeth, man. I'm just like, she's always she's instigating all this stuff. I'm just like, come on.
We were so excited to be invited to this. So
Yes. Oh, man,
thank you
that's-
both. And,
that's cool, dude.
This has been awesome
Yes.
already.
The best part is
We were
meeting
nervous.
Megabeth. I realized
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's the,
That-
As
it's the
soon as
best
he
part for
said,
me.
as soon as you said Megabeth, I was like, oh, I think I know her.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know her now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Brandy.
Yes.
How long you been singing?
Oh my gosh. Well, I always sang,
Listen to my voice. I'm
but
sorry.
that's okay. So
I'm having
I-
eye surgery tomorrow.
You have a
morning.
very nice radio voice, by the
You
way.
do. He does.
It's my cold and my nervous voice.
Have you
'cause I'm
done
having-
radio outside of podcasts?
I'm having eye surgery tomorrow. I'm nervous. I have never done radio.
Man,
But I've had people tell me that I should.
you got that radio voice. man.
Definitely. It's very, very calming. A very calming
Thank
radio
you.
voice. You're welcome.
But that's kind of why I went into podcasting anyways, because I wanted to try to see
Yeah,
how it would go.
you got it, man.
So it's fun. It's a
awesome.
blast. And it's a passion area. I love music. And I love Columbus music.
Yes.
Columbus-based
There's a
music.
lot of
There- yeah.
talent.
There's so much going on in this town.
Brandy, who you keep trying to ask.
I'm just, and I'm saying, and it does, and and again, in Megabeth fashion, pushing me along.
Yeah.
It's my lead up.
Just like a little kick.
It's my
Like
lead.
a little-
No, she doesn't need to do that. My
Oh,
point
okay.
is, it's the whole lead up. That's the whole dramatic aspect of the show.
So it makes you guys a good team.
Yes.
Well, I would say maybe
Yes.
I slow her down to enjoy things and not push them so much.
There you go.
Jesus. But I'm just saying, Brandy.
Yes.
You're included in that.
Thank you.
You've been doing, so you're a perfect example of someone walking around out there. You never know your story,
Yeah. Well,
but you're singing in a rock band. You're doing a damn good job,
Yeah,
and you got
thank you.
a couple projects, different. You're an amoeba, kind of getting your feels with different influences, different players.
Oh, yeah.
Different, styles. But you're finding your voice. And how long's that been going on for you?
well, I've always sang, but not in front of people. So
Yeah.
I started singing out, like with my friend Corey Brown, probably 15 years ago. And then, like I said, we added Tommy, and we've been singing in a band since.
Well,
12
added
years?
me. What Corey, these two were doing like a duo. Corey used to go out and play just solo gigs, and she was be singing around the fire with him at a party often, and he said, she's too good, I got to get her out, and he did. And so he asked me, there was a couple particular shows that he felt like he wanted me to come and set in some lead. Corey and I had played in a band together years before that. He's a bass player, but he was doing this acoustic solo thing. He said, hey, Brandy, I got Brandy singing. You need to come and like play some leads for us on. So I wasn't sitting in the whole night, but I was playing like the last set. I would come up and jam with those guys and just fill in on some lead stuff on the acoustic. And that was the first time I'd ever heard her sing. And I told him, I was like, and at that time I was in a project, like a very classic rock band called Boneyard. And I was also in an original metal band called Exist Beyond Ruin. So I was super busy, which we were playing Alrosa and stuff like this is years later. So I actually got to play there like five, which I thought was a dream would never come true for me to play the Alrosa.
It's so cool, man.
But so we were playing there, and we had just recorded our CD, and with never intentions of playing a gig, we recorded this CD, and it just kind of took off on wildfire. Like Columbus local stuff started playing some of the tunes, and like people that don't like metal loved this album. And so next thing you know, we're playing the Shrunken Head and doing all these like cool little metal scene things, and it was a lot of fun. But I told him, I was like, I would love to do a rock band with her. Like I can't right now, but like her doing Zeppelin and her doing like rock Alanis Morissette and like rock chick tunes, Pat Benatar. I was like, that would be so cool. It was probably 2 or 3 years later, once the Boneyard band kind of fell apart, that I freed up enough, and Exist was winding down. I got a hold of him and said, hey, let's, you guys still want to do that band? And he was like, absolutely. Like, we've been ready.
Yeah.
So we put some pieces together, and actually I took the drummer from Boneyard with me to start that band, and Corey played bass, and that was the start of it all right then.
Man, pretty cool.
And that was early 2011, because we played our first show later that summer.
Sweet.
Yeah.
2011. That wasn't that long ago.
No.
But it's a you guys have been out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about 14
Yeah.
years ago. And like I said, the first year we just played a couple shows under a different band, and then we kind of relaunched as Sweet Misery in 2012, and we've kind of been full bore since then. And even Sweet Misery, when we started, like, we just had the intentions of playing like our local scene. Like, we did maybe 7-8 shows a year. It wasn't much. Not like what we've kind of grown into is, you know, our band probably plays 20 shows a year, and Acoustic probably even more than that, like
Oh, for
25,
sure. Yeah.
25, 26, maybe even more than that, because how the Boatyard, we do 12 shows a year. We're there every month. So yeah, we're probably doing like close to 30 shows Acoustic.
Yep. And I wanted to try to, excuse me, explore a little bit about the kind of what I would say is the sound of your music. It's kind of like, with my words, it's like thick rock, heavy bass.
Yes. Kind of raw.
Heavy metal rock. That wouldn't say, would you say, I've heard you use the term metal, but in your words, Tommy, because you have all that experience with your bands, and those were, Shrunken Head days. That was heavy metal.
Yeah, we were playing heavy stuff back then. Nothing like what we're doing. But
And when we first started, I think we
real
tried
heavy.
to heavy a lot of our like pop songs. We would take a pop, song and cover it a little bit heavier, and that doesn't go over everywhere. So we kind of had to go back a little bit and lay off of it a little bit more, I think.
To be a little more
yeah,
marketable.
yeah.
Columbus definitely seems to appreciate the more
Yes.
original scene, the heavier scene. You can get away with that here down, where we're playing now, not so much, but which we still do a few of those, but like we were definitely kind of, when we started out, we were definitely heavier bass. We were taking like Lady Gaga tunes and making them like almost a metal version of it, which we really liked.
We did Katy Perry.
Which we still do that one.
Yeah,
we've maybe
that's one of my
we've maybe
favorites,
backed it off
yeah.
a little bit from as heavy as it used to be, but it's still pretty damn heavy.
Yeah. It's
yeah,
fun.
it is
yeah.
fun,
We're
so-
getting ready to learn Pink Pony Club. We're going to heavy
We're
it
gonna
up a
heavy
little
up
bit.
Pink Pony
Uh-oh.
Club.
Yeah. We are.
What does that mean?
Pink
For those of us that may not be too familiar with what that would mean.
What? Heavy
Pink
it up?
Pony. Yeah, Pink
Oh,
Pony.
Pink Pony Club, I
Yeah.
believe is, it's a song.
Yeah.
And
Very pop song that's
Very
popular
pop-
right now, like in like I guess what you'd say the dance clubs, which I'm not a
I
part
think-
of.
Is it like a,
For
is it
sure,
like a
it's pop.
Swifty tune or something? Or like a,
is
pardon my
what's
ignorance.
her name? Chappelle. What's her name? Chappell Roan.
Kind of more
Yeah.
of just your typical upbeat pop tune, not so much Taylor Swifty where there's a story.
WNCI
It's just
and not the
yeah,
Blitz.
it
For sure.
for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Yes, WNCI for sure. Not
But
the
we
Blitz,
we'll
but-
take songs like that and turn the keyboard parts into guitar parts and kind of put a heavier rhythm to it, and then she gets the satisfaction of doing her chick tunes, and we get the satisfaction of rocking out and putting some heaviness to it. So yeah, it's kind of
he'll
we
add
make
his
it work.
guitar solo wherever he wants.
So
There is actually a nice guitar solo
I
in that
know.
song.
I agree.
Who's mixing your live performances? Like,
So-
I'm wondering where that sound's coming from. Is it you, Tommy?
And you mean as far as like this
It's the
actual
of the
sound?
band. It's unique. It's definitely something that you don't hear every day.
I mean, we hire all of our sound and lights out. We use. Well, I know one guy you had on, Joe Klaus, has some of our shows this year, and Jimmy
He's
Hahn,
cool,
who's
dude.
like a legend around
Oh hell yeah!
Columbus and the
Yeah.
lake, and he just did our show at Finnegan's. And who else we got?
We got Joe Martin.
Joe Martin does a lot of our shows. So yeah, we got those.
Do-Rag,
guys.
we have Do-Rag.
Do-Rag's got some shows this year.
Do-Rag runs my vocals.
So the sound is really
but-
coming from your instrumentation.
It is. The
Is
sound-
It your guitar, is it your guitar tone?
I think-
that's giving us that. Or
I
what?
think that's probably a lot of it in the bass tone. And our drummer Todd, he's awesome, and he runs a digital kit, which I was never a fan of until now.
idea.
But it's so much nicer to sing without just cymbals just killing your ears, and you got to turn your amp up so loud to get over
It
that.
saves your voice.
And so but most digital kits in the past that I've heard don't sound well, and his sound really, really good. They're just so thick and heavy. So that makes it nice to just have that heavy bottom end to, we can take the Les Paul, my Mesa, and it just gives it a really nice heavy bottom, which most of the songs we give it that, whether it's a Zeppelin tune or if we're playing Katy Perry, like it's got a nice heavy rhythm section to it. And so that's probably like the sound you're talking about. We open a lot of shows with Come Together, but we do the Gary Clark Jr. version where it's all strings are dumped and it's just heavy, bow, 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 So we love to do that kind of stuff, man. So
You should drive with him down the road. He plays every instrument.
on the
as
steering
we're-
wheel, yeah, whatever part's on.
The drums, the
Me, the-
bass, the
That's laughing
keys.
because I do the same thing.
You're on the wrong side, babe, of the road.
It happens.
We're still going to do an Olivia Newton-John song, for sure.
Yes.
That's one of my biggest.
She's been dying to do an since she passed. She's been
Which
dying.
one?
No, Olivia Newton-John. I grew up listening to her. She is just. I've loved her ever since I was a little girl. I think we're going to do Magic.
That'd be my pick.
I think Two of a Kind is really good.
Twist of Fate's good.
Twist of.
There's
that's
actually
what I
a-
mean. Twist of Fate.
There's
yes.
a really good heavy version of Twist of Fate out there. I
Yeah,
can't
but
remember who
I
covered
do.
it.
I like Magic and A Little More Love. Yeah.
Tommy will probably bring the music to you.
Yeah.
Just need to worry about
Yeah.
delivering the tune. That's awesome, though.
Yeah, she runs the band as far as the
What-
songs.
what?
She runs the band as far as what we're playing. I run everything else. I mean, I book
Yes,
all the gigs.
for
I
sure.
schedule practices. I book.
He
the
tells
sound
me where I
guys.
need to be.
I let her know. She don't even know what gig we're on our way to. Like she just gets in the truck. Like, hey, we have to leave at 5, and she's
Be
like,
ready
where
by
are we
5.
tonight? Like
That's cool.
And I'm a bit of a. I'm a bit of a rain man. Like I pretty much know our whole schedule from now to the end of the year. What time we start.
That's
Who the
good.
sound guy is.
By Rain Man, he means OCD.
He's got it all down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's what you want.
For
managing
sure. Because
the-
if
the
it was up to
process.
me, I would be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
And we'd
and-
owe money
yeah.
at the end of the night instead of make any money.
Yep, understood. Wow, pretty wild.
Yeah. But tell them who's your influences. You ever talk about any of that?
Let's
My
let Brandy
influence-
You touched on
talk for
Olivia a
while.
little
Yeah,
bit.
Olivia Newton-John for sure. Patsy Cline. I love Patsy Cline. Stevie Nicks for sure. I mean, Stevie's just amazing. We do a lot of Fleetwood Mac. We even cover Christine McVie in our acoustic set. Yeah.
Which excuse me. which-
Little Lies.
Oh,
Little
Lies.
Yeah.
That's not an easy guitar
Yeah.
piece,
No.
but you up
It's
for it
fun.
anytime.
Yeah.
Tommy's a
He
really
can,
good guitar player.
He
isn't
can play anything.
He can.
That's not true, but thank you.
You got
If
your
I
10
can't
you got
play
your
it, I can pull
10,000
off a
hours
version
in.
of it
There
to make
you
you
go.
think
Listen,
I can.
man, what I heard at Horvath at Winterfest, you did some good stuff. I heard a lot of Floyd.
Yeah.
A lot of
We-
Gilmore.
we threw a couple
so
Floyd
you have
tunes at
a
the end.
lot of Gilmore.
You
like,
should come and
bends
see-
and
yes,
your
Have a Cigar, yes.
Beth and I wanted to.
You
we
have
wanted to
to
come
come.
out. That was a recent show, right?
Uh,
we played it.
O'Nellie's just back in December.
That's relatively close
Yeah.
to us. We hit O'Nellie's this past weekend, actually.
Okay.
We saw a band, Clever Lang. We were just talking about those guys.
They were at O'Nellie's?
It
Nice.
was Mandy's birthday. It was a special show. We wanted to make sure we were there.
That's awesome.
And so O'Nellie's, Have a Cigar. That was on the list.
Yeah. I believe
we
we're gonna,
missed you, though.
We're working on details, but I believe we're going to be back there that same weekend. I think December 13th was the date we nailed down for that just a week ago.
I think our next show is what, June at Horvath
June at
Harbor?
Horvath, the Have a Cigar will be
For
playing.
your Floyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Have a
That
Cigar.
music is, and you both are influenced by the Gilmore, Floydian.
Oh my God, yes, yeah. I'd always joked around because even in Boneyard, the band I spoke about earlier that I was in
Yeah.
before we did Sweet Misery, we played like Run Like Hell, and we did Comfortably Numb and a handful of Floyd tunes. And I've always made the jokes for years that I could just play Floyd all night and it wouldn't bother me a bit. And so a friend of mine, Jared Hill, out of the blue, just texted me like a few years ago one day and said, "Hey," he said, "what would you think of doing like a Floyd tribute?" And I'm like, okay, like you don't have to twist my arm. That sounds amazing. Like obviously it'd have to be something very part-time because I've got so much other stuff going on. But he's like, yeah, man, just like a few shows here and there. Like that would be actually perfect. Like
Yeah.
just to
But
go.
all of Sweet Misery is in Have a Cigar.
Every member of Sweet Misery
Yes.
is in Have a Cigar plus
so
4
we're
other
all,
people.
yeah.
Yeah. Our drummer, bass
So you
player.
just expanded your
So Jared is the other guitar player and singer. He kind of takes over he does the Gilmore vocals, where I kind of do the Roger Waters vocals stuff, and then we both play lead guitar. We both do the Gilmore guitar parts. But our drummer Todd Harney is the drummer in both bands, and Rob Williamson's the bass player in both bands. And we have John Carson, which we talked about briefly earlier, just an amazing saxophone player. Plays sax in that band, and Brie Lizanne and Brandy do the backup chick stuff. So
Yeah, we're the
it's
backup singers.
it's really a fun thing to do, and we get to put it all out there. It's a blast. It's a good show if you
Have
haven't
a
seen
Cigar.
it. Yeah,
It's a very rewarding show when you're finished. Yeah.
and it's awesome.
I can
That's one of the only times we do most of those shows are like ticket sales shows. So when those people just came to see us, they at the lake we have a blast and it's always packed, and we bring a lot of people there to those shows. But there's also half the crowd there is probably just there, don't even know who's playing tonight, and you're just the entertainment. Like and a lot of people love that, and we get to meet a lot of new friends that way. But when you go do something like that and everybody there knows what they're coming for, like just to watch Pink Floyd music and see us do it, that's pretty satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's more
absolutely.
intimate, don't you think?
Very
So,
intimate,
yeah.
yeah.
And you guys have been doing this a while, 11 or so years.
Well, the Pink Floyd, the Have a Cigar is fairly new.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we're on like year 3 for that.
Took us about
but
a
together
year.
as
Oh,
musical
yes.
Oh yeah,
collaborators,
Yeah.
you've been at it. So you've got that bond that kind of provides the foundation
Yes.
for these projects, these
Absolutely,
bands. That's good
yeah.
stuff.
for sure.
Brandy, so we haven't heard a lot about you. What got you to the point where, so you've been singing, but you didn't sing out, but like what's keeping you out there? Like you've been doing this now with Tommy.
What's keeping me out
You know,
there?
you-
Well,
you got out there, and it took you a while.
it did
to
take
get
me a while.
comfortable.
Yeah. And still, sometimes I still get very nervous on stage.
Well, what
but-
is it? What is it about that?
Oh, I just love to make other people happy. I
That's
love
what
to
we're
see,
talking about.
yeah, I love to see people dancing to our music, smiling, laughing, singing along. It just is very, satisfying to know that you're making other people happy doing what you're doing. And we've met so many nice people through this.
I know, man. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like you start
Yeah.
doing stuff in like music, and you meet people, and then you start getting curious. I mean, if you're remotely interested in playing guitar, and you start going out to local bands and seeing guys doing stuff you like at the Alrosa Villa, seeing Rob Johnson just shred your
Oh, yeah.
face off and just say, "Oh my God, I want to do that."
Yeah.
And have that. Do you have that pick on you by chance? The
I don't. I even thought I should have brought
you
it.
should
I
have
actually,
brought
I
it.
want to see a picture.
yeah.
or something.
You'll have to send him a picture.
I have to dig it out because I know it's buried in a box,
But you
but I
got it.
know I've got it because I have a jar of picks that's packed away from like moves over the years, but it's packed away. I never would have gotten rid of that, and I know I have it. So I've got like picks from a lot of guitar players that I've, hey, throw me a pick, over the years, and I have that boxed up and put away for sure. I told Rob when I find it, I'm going to pull it out and send him a pic of it, but I'll send you one as well.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'll forward it to Rob.
Yeah, there you go.
with a video it'll be cool.
Yeah.
It used to be on your little computer desk. I remember seeing it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's hard to tell where it's at now, but yeah.
Oopsie.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You guys are a cute couple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think-
I'm glad I get to. I'm very, very fortunate that I get to do this with her. Like
We have a lot of fun doing this
Yeah.
for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. So you're doing this, Brandy, for others. You're kind of like, do you recognize that you have skills and that you people really are reacting because they love what you're doing?
I
And-
think so. Yeah, it took
but
me a
that's
long
not
time.
what you're feeding off of.
Yeah,
Is what you're saying.
I mean, it took me a long time to get confident enough to get out and sing. And like I said, I still get nervous, but if I see just one person out there singing along with me, that's all I need.
That made your night.
Yeah.
There's usually
If
more
I
than
just
one.
know I made one person out there happy and forget about their problems for a few hours, come out and listen to live music. That's what it's about,
Oh yeah, weekends
sure.
are made for
Yeah.
just kind of blowing off some steam and having fun.
Absolutely.
And if you're not actually doing it, going out and seeing your friends is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to do this as long as we can.
Yeah, people get on us a little bit because we play, we work all week. We have regular jobs, obviously, but then we spend so much time on the weekend playing. But
We have a good,
it's
our
something
friends
we really,
do.
we have an amazing group that follows us around, and
Yeah.
they're just awesome. And they all came up to Finnegan's, and they no matter where we're at, they follow us around, and it just makes
Solid
it so
gold dancers they are.
makes it so nice to walk into a venue and
See
they all
their-
come
yeah.
pouring in. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
We love them for sure.
Yeah,
Well, that's good because venues like when you're able to bring your friends.
absolutely.
Well, when we book our we book our year, we book our shows like a year in advance.
Because you have a crowd.
Yeah,
You
like
bring
our,
them
I
with
mean,
you.
our whole year is booked in November
Yeah,
for the
usually
next year.
like-
And every year I say, don't add any more. We need a little more time, with our friends. And we have two grandkids, we have two grandbabies.
Oh man,
So, we want to spend time with them. But already we've added more shows, which is awesome.
into
We love it.
2025.
Yeah, yeah.
Tommy, how many shows did you book?
We probably in 2025 right now, and we have a couple of dates we've left open for like maybe October, November, December, like that part of the year. We still have a handful of dates, but right now we're probably at 20 band shows for Misery, about got to be close to 30 acoustic shows, and then Have a Cigar has 5 booked. So between that, 30.
Pretty busy.
So we're
full
yeah, we're about
dance card.
60 gigs in right now.
Yeah.
Where do you communicate your gigs for each of those projects? Do they have their own?
They all have their own
spot?
Facebook page. We
Okay,
don't have any
Facebook.
separate websites for any of the bands, but like Sweet Misery has a Facebook page separate from Sweet Misery Acoustic Duo, separate from Have a Cigar. They all got their own page, and we obviously share all of those gigs, get shared on all the sites, and because it's a lot of the same following that know us well and follow what we do.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be an asset for your bands to bring as many folks that want to have. They're there for a purpose to see you and groove on your music and to dance and have a good time.
Absolutely,
that's a good thing.
That is a very good thing.
Your year's already mapped out.
Yeah. And it's just as rewarding to show up to a show and if none of our people are there, and we get to meet so many new people. Yeah.
And we have really good relationships with the owners of the bars.
Yeah.
Mark at the Port and Tom at Horvath, and I mean we become really good friends.
So
with,
cool.
with
Yeah, I
them.
mean, hell, me and Mark and a group of guys went and watched Skid Row last summer, and we went on a guys trip, and
We're calling you out, Mark.
Me and Tom and Brandy and I will go with him and Christy to Roosters on
Yeah.
a Friday. Like, so we've definitely developed relationships with a lot of these people, and that's just kind of our personalities. Like we try to invite them into what we do, and we're interested in what they do.
Yeah.
So. Like this right here. Like, had we not met Tom, we wouldn't have met Judge Trimmer, and would never met you. So, this is
and Megabath.
We
And
may
Megabath.
have found you eventually, but it's funny because it took me about 4 years to go see a Megabath show, or to meet Megabath before I even saw a Megabath show. But I did
Really?
meet her before. I met her in business 2 years before I actually met her face to face. We were on a business conference call on a project. It was a
really
first
cool.
chance encounter.
That's
but,
awesome.
But then 2 years later, another chance encounter. So it's kind of, you never know. is
Really?
my point.
Yeah.
And my point
Yeah.
is you just never know. You
Yeah.
never know.
yeah.
Music brings people together.
Yeah, I probably met. I know exactly when I met Brandy. It was Christmas Eve in '98. It's the very first time I even had saw her or knew she existed. Yeah, and it definitely made an impact. It wasn't until years later that we ever got to meet and
And get to know
get
each
to know
other.
each other. But
Yeah.
Oh man! But you knew who she was,
Knew who she was, yeah.
and you were kind of watching.
Well, she wasn't around much after that, so I couldn't. But yeah, actually, I was playing the very first band I'd ever really played out in, other than like high school bands that like did a couple parties and stuff. But the first band I played out in, I was in like my very early 20s, and it was actually like a very blues-based band. It was doing Hendrix and
Which band?
Schomburgett band
Oh,
with,
yes,
with
yes.
the Cokie Boys.
Yes.
And John and Bill was the rhythm section. They were brothers. But I was like 21, 22, and they were like 46, 7, which to me felt like the old guys, you know. And but they were so good. And Schomburgett was amazing singer-songwriter from our area. And we did a lot of his originals as well. And that was the first band, like, you know, I went and laid tracks at a studio. I was like, oh my God, what's this? You know, I'd only done stuff on 4-track before. And so we went to a studio, and like he's probably got 1 million albums now.
Yeah,
but
he's really
the very
good.
first album he had done, like I laid tracks on. I think actually his first 3 albums I laid tracks on, and played in his band. But her mom was friends with the rhythm section. Oh, she was probably their age and older. And they used to follow that band around, and they were really good. I mean, everywhere we went, they were there. And so he was doing a CD release. That's how I remember it was Christmas Eve of '98, because he autographed one for me that he signed, and I still have the CD. And Brandy had come in, and I'd heard her talk about her daughter, and I expected like just her mom's a hippie, and she's awesome, and I love her to death. But I expected just a younger version of her, and then this thing walks in. I was like, oh my God. Who is this?
This
And
thing?
Yeah.
This thing, right?
This thing.
Yeah. And it was, she
Miss
made quite an
Brandy.
impression on me. And then,
Aw,
I said, oh, hey.
yeah. Oh, hey, bye.
See you, bye.
really? Good girl. Smart girl.
Yeah.
Been there before, and she's like, oh, he's cute, but we'll see.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Not going to jump quick.
I think it was how many years later that we started playing
Oh, my
together?
God. Well, that was 98. And then you said, when did you start playing with Corey?
Like 15 years ago.
So you're talking 2010?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Several years went by.
Yeah, I feel like you probably played with Corey in like 09 and 10.
Yeah, that sounds
So,
about right.
About right then. So, yeah. About 16 years after that.
Well, three music projects, full dance cards for all of them. You guys got a bright future.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to keep going
Cool.
as long as
Well,
we can.
you know,
Yeah.
that's sweet. I think, you know, do you have your digital press kit? You're shopping around and whatnot, and you got connections?
So
Or you
no,
just
like
kinda,
I
what are
said,
you leveraging for-
what's kind of where we've been is like when we started the band was just playing our local bar scene around town, and was just doing those 8 shows a year that we could go play, and next thing you know, we finally get that shot at the lake that she wanted, and we just never left. Like we started drawing really good crowds, and then every
So-
bar at the lake wanted us to play, so we started playing like basically every bar on the lake we play. At some point, you know, some years we skip one and wherever, but then we usually go back, but we always play the Port, and we always play Horvath, and we always play
Big
Amvets.
stands.
Big
Amvets,
stands. So
yeah.
we always have the few that we-
Boatyard.
boatyards. Oh,
The yacht
always.
club, yeah.
So, we do that, but we've never pushed the band. We've never tried to been that band to try to be out there. And hey, it's like somehow it's just kind of always came to us, and the opportunities have came. And we've years ago we talked about maybe like, hey, should we try to push this? Should we try to? But we were really playing as much as we wanted to, and so we was kind of like, we're doing fun gigs. We're having a blast here, and but now we're kind of like, we've done all that. Not that it's not fun, 'cause it's still a blast.
Oh, yeah.
But like the
we have a
opportunity
blast.
to maybe get into some new venues has kind of been on our radar, without trying to like say, hey, now we're going to come up and be a Columbus band, because it's obviously a little bit of a haul for us. But there's definitely venues we've heard about that we think would be a blast to go play. I mean, a lot, and those bands that come to the lake like once or twice a year, like Clubber Lang, those guys are playing this whole Columbus scene. So, we'd love to do like, a Fender show, or like some of these bands that we hear about playing these other cool venues. Leon's Garage, we've heard about. We've never played any of those places, never even really tried. That'd be something we'd be open to for sure down the road, just to go have new experience and meet new people.
Yep.
Let them hear what we got.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys have a unique sound, definitely. And,
Thank you.
Like I said, it's that thick rock, but it's just a cool tone, cool guitar tone, cool. I don't know what you got going on in there, but
that's a secret.
The
I
mix.
can't really let that out
maybe that's what
publicly.
it is.
But
some, I don't know. Some
actually,
something's going on there.
that's one thing, man. Like,
You get a digital rig. What are you doing?
no, I play only Les Pauls and Fender Strats through a Mesa. Like, it's all tube.
That's what it is. It's your tube Mesa.
Yeah,
dude.
tube
I know. That's the sound.
And my pedal board's probably worth more than my amp. I got
dude,
a lot of going on there in the pedals. Which, if you're going to play Pink Floyd, you got to have some stuff going on at the feet. So I take a lot of
time effects.
Yeah, I mean Gilmore. just obviously the master of doing so much with one note, just the right bend, the right vibrato. But that tone, that makes a big difference. So I kind of try to take a lot of pride in my tone, for sure.
Well, that's probably what I'm all like wiggly about. Because I get the same way with
makes
Rob.
a lot of people
I listen
wiggly.
To Rob. Well, I listen
Yeah.
to Rob Johnson too. He does. His guitar tone's pretty damn unique.
Yes.
And I think yours is too.
Yeah.
It's something that I kind of dig. Rock based,
Yeah.
more of a classic. The boogie tone though. That for you, I think that's what I'm really kind of
Yeah. It's got a really nice sound.
attracted
Yeah.
toward personally. But
Yep.
I'm sure other people would be as well. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
Obviously they are,
At least we hope. Yeah.
and they're drawn to her voice.
Yeah.
It's got a magic, fabulous front person with a guitar player that has a good stuff, good chops.
Yeah.
It's a good.
I
combo.
tried the digital rig
good
for
band.
years, just thinking just the simplicity of just plugging in and everything's kind of ready to go, and give that a go for a couple years. And I couldn't stand it. I had to go back to just having that feel of that tube amp and that warmth and that bite when you dig into a string. So I just could never get that out of the digital stuff. And I gave it a run, but now I'm super happy with the rig I got right now. Like, it took me a while to get it all.
Which model? Boogie?
It's the Triple Crown, which they claim. So I used to run a rectifier when I was in metal band. Obviously,
like a dual.
I had the triple rectifier.
Oh, triple.
I had the triple rec, and
So dirty,
yeah,
dirtier, and then
yeah.
burn.
But that was so one trick pony. Like, it was just the heavy was so amazing, but that's all I could do with it.
heavier, and the heaviest.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was it. No cleans,
clean,
any kind of bluesy, nothing. So when we started this, I knew I couldn't obviously use that amp for Misery, which I think that's when I went to the digital rig first and wasn't loving it. And then a friend of mine actually had this amp for sale, Rick Glass. And he's just, oh my God, he's got a garage full of boutique amps, and
Yes.
just so I'm jealous. But anyways, he had this one he wanted to get rid of, and they claim that the red channel, which is your heaviest channel, is heavier than even a rectifier red channel. But the what I play 90% of the time is the middle channel, which is just that nice bluesy, but it's got a lot of bottom bite. And I only go to that red channel on a couple songs where we're like kind of heavy, like Evanescence and some stuff like that. But and it's got a really nice clean tone, and I can hit the overdrive for a little bit of a, like Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of a vibe. If I need any of that bluesy stuff on that, I don't even have to use my clean with a bit of bite on the overdrive. So, yeah, it's pretty universe or pretty versatile rig, man. I get a lot of stuff out of it.
It sounds great.
Thanks.
It's good stuff. And Brandy's voice sounds fantastic too.
Oh my
Thank you.
God, she's when I heard her sing, when Corey asked me to come and do those couple shows with those guys, I just knew I wanted to do something with her, and obviously there was already a connection, and I was just so drawn to her, not just her talent, but her talent alone. I knew I wanted to do a project with her, and it took a couple years for me to free up enough to do that, but. I knew if she was singing, people were going to come, especially if we could put a badass band behind her. I knew people would be there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to be, the right formula for you guys.
Yeah, works.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Playing out for me, when you asked her about what keeps her going, I wanted to bring this up just briefly because I actually just had a distant cousin that I just messaged this weekend who I hadn't talked to in years, but my great uncle Jimmy actually had a band, and they went to Nashville back in the day and tried to give it a go. And this would be, I mean, he's probably been gone for 5-6 years now, and he was like 94 when he died. But so this was a while ago. But him and his wife was in his band, so he was the guitar player and the singer, and she was in his band. It was the backup
I don't
singer.
think I knew that.
Yeah, and they were Jimmy Barrett and the Baritones, and they went to
Nice.
Nashville and cut original. Yeah, and they did the whole big, all wore the matching fringe outfits and the cowboy hats, and did the whole thing. But anyways, when I'd have my on my grandma's side, that was my grandma Mary's brother. We'd have these what we called the bacon fry, and it's basically just a family reunion. But be a whole yard full of people, and I was just a kid. I mean, I'm probably like 8 or 9 at the time, and all the other kids are running around, not even paying attention at all. But he would always bring a few guys from his band, and they would play, and he'd be doing all of his country stuff or whatever. But and I would just be sitting mesmerized by the guitars and the drums and the bass. I just I would just sit there mesmerized by watching those guys play. But the thing that hit me the most was he closed every set with, oh my God, what am I thinking of? Green, Green Grass at Home. And when he would play it, like my grandma and her sisters, like they're all just bawling. Like he'd move him to tears with this song. And I mean, until the day he died, he'd move him to tears with that song. And I was like, dude, I want to do that. Like if I can hold there was something about playing for an audience, and everyone's just sitting in chairs watching, and like to move them emotionally, like that hit me as a kid. That was something I always wanted to do. And I still like. And
then that's what brings you back, right?
Brandy's the opposite. She hates slow songs and sad songs. I love them. Like if a song can make me cry, like damn, what a good song.
He likes a sad song.
Yeah, which I'm a Cancer. I'm a baby, and I'm a crier.
Dude,
she's a Capricorn.
Exactly the same way you are. With
most
the
people
music.
are. Most people like sad songs.
Well, and I'm a Cancer too.
Are you a
July baby?
She says we're babies, but
we are.
Cry babies.
We're the worst.
I'm a Capricorn.
We are.
Well, that's why she says that. She's a Capricorn. She doesn't give a shit.
Kind of
She
mean.
don't give a shit how you feel.
She does not.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I cry at movies.
I do too. I do too.
How do you
dude.
not?
Well, you're either emotional or you're not.
I am.
Or your emotions are touched or they're not. And certain things do and certain things don't.
Yeah, and music can be very emotional.
Oh, God, yeah.
Maybe one of the most emotional, powerful things there is.
I think it's what taps you into anything beyond the physical.
Yeah.
You have to have some sort of musical frequency that pulls you out, so to speak.
Yeah.
My opinion. I don't know shit in that area, but I think anytime I feel that I'm like leaving myself physically, it's more emotional, and there's music involved.
Always.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah,
music
it's kind of
involved.
weird.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll happen when my last day comes.
It's not cool.
Yeah.
It's got to be that has to be a good time if that's the case, where you feel something good.
Absolutely.
Right.
You can make you
If that's
feel
your
really
last
good, and
seconds, I mean, it's got to be good. I want to have good music going.
absolutely.
They say to
And her.
play good music. Yes, there you go.
That's right.
In the peanut gallery, in the Neil Peanut Gallery.
That's right. It's still up there. The Ben and Julie.
Right on. It's cool.
Yeah.
Honorary Peanut Gallery.
Yes, the honored couple.
I know all the
Picture.
words to Green Green Grass at Home. I could pick up a guitar and play it right now.
Oh my gosh, you guys
Yes.
have to play it. You have to do it.
Yeah,
All right.
I think we will.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Life is very good, and I'm really happy you guys made the time to
Oh
come
my
to.
God.
Oh, thank
We
you for
didn't get
having
to talk
us.
too much about Brandy, but I think
That's
Brandy.
okay.
Is it fair to say that Sweet Misery was your first band?
Absolutely.
And you're still rolling with
Yeah.
it. But you're branching out. You're exploring your craft, and you're which is
we're
really
gonna keep
awesome.
going,
Are you
yeah.
involved in? Are you a member of the Central Ohio Women Who Rock?
I am a member. Yes.
Talk a little bit about that. You're a member.
Well, I am a member on Facebook. Yes. Like I said earlier, I live about an hour and a half maybe away from where they do their meetings, so I really don't get involved that often. But I'd like to get involved in the next fundraiser for sure.
And you work a lot of the nights.
I do. I do hair through the week, and sometimes I work until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and I can't really get there. So I've kind of just.
But you're there in
I just
spirit.
watch them. Yeah, they all have great voices. They're all amazing women. You know, I kind of watch them on the Facebook page, and I definitely want to meet a lot of them.
You're in.
Thank you.
You're one of us.
She's always very supportive of all the local bands,
yeah.
but especially the
I've
girl
always,
bands.
the girl. I love women
There's,
in
you know,
rock and roll
and
for sure. Women in music.
It's been wonderful to see the visibility through the work of that group of people. You know.
Yeah.
And there's a fabulous group.
They
you
are
know.
fabulous. They really are.
You know, really,
And I will get there. I will
that's
get
cool.
to go
No,
meet
and
all
that's
of
not
them.
a pressure question.
Yeah,
at
no,
all.
I
It's just
want
more
to.
No,
like
she's wanted to actually for a long
Several
time.
meetings,
Curiosity.
haven't I?
Yeah,
Said, oh,
she
shoot.
complains that, like, oh my God, I would love to go to that, I can't. So
Yeah.
it's definitely been on her.
But I
radar
do
to try
watch
to
all
make a
their
night to go.
videos. I love female singers. I love females in music. It's just I've always wanted another female in our band, haven't I? Like I want to sing with another girl. I want to do harmonies, and it's so fun. Girl power.
Uh-oh.
That's why I make my band.
Some people are going to hear that. You're going to get your phone. Your phone's going to come.
And I make these guys do, the girl songs. They all want me to do, cover the guy songs, and I'm like, no, we're going to do chick songs.
Chicks.
Yeah.
We do a nice combination.
We do.
Of both.
We really do. Yeah. Led Zeppelin. I love to cover Led Zeppelin. Can't go wrong.
I'm a
What
huge Zeppelin fan.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen our video?
I have, and I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. It was fun.
Help me with the wording of what we're going to put in your episode description, and then the links that you want people to go. And people are like, oh, Len, you got to have music on your podcast episodes. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'd rather people hear the episode and hear from you, the artist, but then
be able to go find it.
Point to where you want people to consume your music. Your place where you have the content that's going to be changing over time. And you can always point back to your podcast episode.
Absolutely.
To kind of get a little bit of background. We learned a lot about Tommy's background, and yours is not as long of a
That is
duration.
okay.
but
That is okay.
By fairness,
He
I'm
said-
3 years older.
He said,
15 years
poke me
later.
if I talk too much. And,
I haven't got poked yet.
You didn't. You did a really good job, actually.
He
He
had
did.
some good stuff.
Yeah.
She has to come back.
Yeah. Maybe we'll bring Brandy back by herself the next time.
Tommy has to sit in the other room.
Me,
Tommy has
me
to
and
sit in the
Megabeth
other
are going to
room.
sit over there and drink
We're gonna
wine.
we're gonna shut him out of the next podcast.
We love Megabeth. And she was pretty quiet for Peanut Gallery tonight. I'm a little surprised.
But I was enjoying it.
Beth,
I had a lot to listen
before
to.
we sign off, I'm
Lot of Tommy
sorry.
to listen to,
She what?
Kidding. Yeah.
It's been a delight tonight, has it not?
Oh my gosh, yes.
you guys are
Fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah, we've been
Thank
stoked
you
since the minute
guys.
you
Yes,
brought
we
this
were
up at
nervous.
Winterfest.
We were very nervous.
We were like, what do they
You
want to
guys
talk
made
to
it
us about?
so yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I wasn't participating for a while. Like, I was 36 when I picked up a guitar and started to play it, and I've been going out and seeing and talking to the guitar players and getting to know them, and it's like I didn't know what local music was. I grew up in the burbs. There wasn't much of a scene, but I was drawn to perform the little something,
Absolutely.
So I started with the Acoustic Zeppelin, learning page and learning
awesome.
some stuff. But, at the same time, going out and seeing people, the podcast is kind of a manifestation of what I've always kind of done on my own. Going out, talking to musicians, learning their backgrounds and how they get to do and why they're doing what they're doing, and kind of figuring out, oh, maybe I can do something like that myself.
Absolutely.
And over time, kind of did some stuff myself. You got to balance all that with your life, which your story, Brandy, kind of emulates as well. You know,
Yeah.
you have to prioritize along the way, but you can fit it in. You can do it. And
Absolutely.
you guys are people that have done that. You
Yes.
know, and that's what's fun is you're someone who's always sang, but you know, you're Brandy, somebody who's now doing a couple projects,
Yeah.
you know, a couple bands that are out there, and
You're inspiring somebody.
you found the things that got you out there and going and doing what you're doing, but you're going to inspire others to Beth's point.
Yeah.
You know, it's doable, you know, and there's a place for you, whether it's the Shrunken Head, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure what it's called now, but like, you know, there was a time in your career, Tommy, where you're playing the Shrunken Head and it was the best damn concert performance you've
Oh, yeah.
ever freaking done in your life. And I played that stage too, and I loved
We actually got
that
to
stage.
We actually got
But
to play
it's
the
as-
Newport as well.
It's as big as this desk.
Yeah. Oh, it's small.
And the club is tiny.
It's small. Yeah.
But it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because you're doing what you love and you see people responding to what you do. And but now you know you have your eyes set on bigger clubs and your product and your band
Oh yeah, we got many a
has
gig
a
under the
following,
belt.
and you got
We've come a
good-
long way
good
from those early years
shows.
of the band.
And so you know, and you've invested all that time,
Yeah.
and you're playing as a boogie rigs. You're not playing
Yeah.
some, you know, non-working, you know, $100,
Right.
110
Stomp box little kind of thing.
amplifier,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're playing some gear, you know, that you've
Yeah.
invested in, and you've got more than 10,000 hours in your craft. And
Oh, yeah.
you're out there doing your thing, doing the best you can, and continuing to push forward. That's my point.
Yeah.
So you're able to get into like the next tier of venues. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And give what you give. Brandy's given her performance because people are reacting. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
she's there for.
Yeah.
And you shared your reason you're out there too. And it's the formula, you know, and it's you're out there doing your thing, and when it's all working, it feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does feel good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You have to have good chemistry and
Yeah, and we got great
On
guys that we
stage,
work
yes.
with right now too, and it's just it's a lot of fun.
That's
We're
what it's
we're
all
pretty
about.
blessed in the fact that we get to do it together. I mean, I don't know, like to do it apart. I'm not saying that ever wouldn't happen, but I can't even imagine this scenario where you're in a band and I'm not, or if I'm in a band and
No.
you're not. Just because this is all we've known for
I get
years.
Yeah, see, that's the difference between us, Beth. I mean,
Yeah.
because she's been established with
Yeah.
Megabeth,
Yeah.
and it's a great band, and I would never, want to, ever. Like I would, that's just not my. It's just not. I would never. But,
No,
but
I
I would do
understand
something
that.
different.
Completely
I would do
understand
something
that.
different.
with her.
We just haven't. And we've done some acoustic things together, and we've booked some shows, and we've had
Sure.
a lot of fun with that, and with some other people too
Mm-hmm.
that we've worked with, and that she's now working with. That's good stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's
for you
awesome.
to have come together, and you're able to work with somebody's experience with as Tommy,
Right.
and learn, and kind of grow together. Together you're stronger than apart.
Oh, for
but
sure.
in
Yeah,
our
we-
case,
Yeah,
Beth,
for
I would
sure we are.
argue we're probably stronger separate because, you are who you're established with what you're passionate with. It is what it is. I mean, it's just I'll perform with you anytime. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's looking at me like
No, I'm not.
what are you doing?
She's gonna be your boss.
like,
yeah, if
Oh,
you're
she's
if
not
you-
my boss.
She's
like,
not your boss.
Edit. We're gonna
no-
cut this part
No,
out.
there's no edit.
If you were in a band,
Are
would
you
she-
asking?
if you were in a band, would she be your
Okay,
boss?
so here's
I
what
feel
I'll
like
say
she
about
would.
that. Here's what I'll say about that. If I were in a band with you, you would be the boss. If I'm in the band with Beth, because you're the vocalist.
I think
Okay.
it'd be similar to what Tommy described.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it'd be very similar to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't want to run the band
Yeah.
See, I would want
of her. Well, I know you would, because you wouldn't want to do all the shit that Tommy
There's
does.
a
Right.
lot. Oh, it's a lot.
And I've done that, and I'm not doing that.
She
And
runs
so,
the band, but
to
I
be
make
honest-
it all work.
To be honest
do.
with you, that's why I'm probably not. No, I'm just kidding. But that is a factor. It
Yeah.
is a factor.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But I guess my point is, I'm working with Gabrielle Johnston. That's her band.
Absolutely.
I have run bands, I have experience in running bands. If somebody asks me my opinion, I'll give it to you for your consideration of what I've learned, but it was a different time, so it might be different today. But fundamentally, it's pretty much, similar. You got to have skills. You got to show up. You got to be ready to play, and you got to do the best you can and not be a dick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ever.
Am I a dick, man?
No.
To your
You are not.
bandmates, to the venue
I'm probably
owner, to
probably
anyone.
too nice at times, which is why
That's okay.
we usually end up being like friends with every place we play because I'm like,
No, it all works. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm just
we've got
kidding.
great relationships with everyone.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think every band has that. Like we work hard to make sure we bring a positive vibe to our show, and we bring a positive vibe to.
I think it.
We let the
needs
venue
to
know
be-
we're happy to play there. And
Yeah.
We're happy to be there,
And
and we appreciate it.
we appreciate
We
it.
appreciate all the opportunities we get. We appreciate this very, very
Absolutely.
much.
Oh, fantastic. And I guess my earlier point was it's a manifestation of what I've been doing, and podcasting allows you to make it very public.
Yes.
So it's a very personal passion area. So I get a little embarrassed when people talk about, being happy to do this. And I'm the grateful one because, I've met so many awesome people that I've loved, in this scene. And it's just, I love what they do, but to have the opportunity through the podcast to have not only met them in a very personal nature with the podcast experience, but I met some really good friends.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Recently.
That's what it's
Both of us
about.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a surprise, but for them to also have benefited musically just through the process of exposure of the podcast platforms, because there's a lot of people that listen to podcasts these days.
Right.
And having positive experiences with music, it was a big surprise,
Yeah.
but it has nothing to do with the fact other than, it's just a manifestation of a personal passion area that leverages my radio voice.
Absolutely, which is
I
amazing.
apologize tonight. It's a little rough.
No, you have a really good radio voice.
Absolutely.
You do too, babe.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, along those same lines, you definitely you could do this kind of thing, or you get on radio, or I'd love to see what Christy Kemper is going to be doing next. She's one of my favorites because, when she came to Columbus, I woke up to her voice getting ready for work every day.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the
Yeah.
people before her in the early, in the late 70s and into the 80s before she came in the 90s, I was listening to those DJs when the station was up. But radio is changing, and I want to see someone like her or Archie or some of these guys that you listen to or on the Blitz, the DJs there too. I mean, they're great people that are passionate about music, and
For sure.
they also have their hand out in regard to helping locals too.
Yeah.
Local music.
We met Christy just a couple of times. She usually comes to when they're at the port, the Gypsy Kings, when they're there, she's usually there with her husband singing. So
Yeah.
we've met her a couple of times. Yeah, they're a great band as well. My God.
Oh yeah.
So
I can't wait to hear Sweet Misery, though. That's who I'm looking for.
Thank you.
We saw them at.
I know. I want to hear them
I want to hear them again, though. I want to see Have a Cigar, and we'll come see your duo too. I mean,
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
We have a
Yep.
lot of fun.
it's fun.
How are we doing here? That's pretty good. Yep. All right. Well, Brandy, next time we're going to start with you.
Thank you. Yeah. So
Next time,
next time, Tommy
me and
has to-
Megabeth are just going to hang back and drink some wine, and you
All right.
Did I talk too much, babe?
No,
No,
babe,
right.
you did
Dude,
perfect.
no, it's all good.
It is all good.
It's all good.
Because I figured I'd be the one over here, like with nothing to say.
No.
Did you cover everything you wanted to, Tommy? In regard to
I
all your
think
bands?
so.
You want to leave us with the funniest shit that happened on the road when you were with some of those rock bands back before
Oh,
your
my
girl,
God.
your wild single.
Go ahead,
dude?
babe. Let's hear it.
Do you know these stories?
I don't.
Brandy? He doesn't. I don't want to put you on the
There's-
spot, dude.
I can't. There's so many I can't even think.
You were.
Oh my God.
Maybe we're gonna have to schedule another episode.
We may I'll have
Just
to
leave us
put
with
some-
one, Tommy.
He's gonna have to make something up.
No, I'm not thinking I have to make anything up.
Try to make up a cool story.
What's up, man?
It's probably not even that funny unless you were there.
It's probably not.
It's not.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
I'm just trying to go through it in my head. It's not that funny.
Okay, that's a good.
Okay,
fast forward.
I'll give you one. This was actually this is pretty unique, and I don't know how many bands this would have ever happened to. One of the first bands I was in outside of when I got out of that blues band, and I was kind of more I was like the lead guitar player guy, and we were playing. Actually, it was Corey was the bass player of the band, and we were hired to play his company picnic. And so we set up, and at that time I was playing I had actually a really nice Marshall rig, and we were set up, and the whole band set up. We're just getting ready to start sound check, and for some reason at this event they had generators hooked up to run everything. Well, they ran 220 to our tent and fried every piece of equipment that we owned.
Because it was all 110.
It was all 110, just running through plugs, and they sent 220 to it. So I had no amp, I had no pedals, the bass amp's dead, the PA's dead. They hand us a credit card and tell us to go to Guitar Center on a Sunday afternoon. I think the limit on the card was $15,000, and we spent probably $14,000
No shit.
on brand new gear. Much better than what we owned.
I remember that story.
Dude, that's a hell of a story.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
dude. Like we were laughing the entire way back
Did
to
you
the
buy
gig.
a Les Paul custom that day?
Oh, my guitar was fine, so I couldn't justify
Oh.
buying a guitar.
Wait a second.
But my Marshall amp was probably like a $500 head I bought used off eBay, and I got a $2,300 brand. Can you buy a used Marshall
what you
head for
said.
$500
I
at
don't-
Guitar
I don't
Center?
know.
No. So the only choice was to buy a new one, like the one that I had.
That's when you switched to Boogie?
Yeah. No, I did get a brand new Marshall, but it was much better than the Marshall that I had. And
That's crazy.
all the guys did the same thing. Like we just basically bought all new gear. I had to buy all new pedals and put together in a board. And we started like 2 hours late, but we still played the show and come off great. But that was we laughed about that for 2 years after that, about going to Guitar Center and coming home with like 14 grand worth of new gear. And the PA wasn't mine though, it was Corey's, but he had to buy new speakers, monitors, mixer, like everything was fried. So yeah, he made out and got a whole new PA out of the deal.
I'll say.
Yeah.
All EV.
Did you still
Yes.
and you
All
still played the
monitors.
show?
We did. Like I said,
Yeah.
we was sound checking, so we supposed to, I'm guessing like start at 2:00.
Yeah.
I don't think we got on till like 4 because we had to, Guitar Center luckily was only like 15-20 minutes away. So we ran to Guitar Center and
We had a funnel cake truck, remember? Fry our sound guys stuff. Do you remember that?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
At that
The fun-
at a fireworks festival we were playing, and someone unplugged his thing while it was all hooked up and running, and
No, it was the funnel cake truck.
Right.
Yeah.
he unplugged from the breaker box, and it messed up it killed the whole PA and his lights, and that was a whole. But he wanted us to pay for. Like, well, we didn't do it. But
I think he had insurance.
he
though.
worked
It
out a
ended up-
deal with the
Yeah.
festival, and they kind of helped him with some of the gear. Yeah, it didn't all get ruined. I think his lighting got ruined, and he had to get a new light controller or something.
That's it.
Yeah. But it killed the whole PA for like 15-20 minutes before he could get it all fired back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a couple PG
I love it.
tales we can tell.
All right, you got an X-rated one?
I don't.
Yeah, you're
Especially
not
not with
gonna
my
tell
wife
it.
sitting
You're
right
not gonna
here. I
tell-
do not.
he's not
There's
gonna
none.
tell it.
No,
That's cool.
there's absolutely none.
Dude,
Look at that smile.
Truer
There's
words have
he
not
I was
said
just-
there's absolutely none.
I was just waiting on you, babe. That's it.
episode 104.
That's awesome.
Tommy and Brandy Hettich.
yes.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure. We love it. Go out and see Sweet Misery or Have a Cigar, the Pink Floyd experience,
Yes.
or your duo, which is named
Sweet Misery Acoustic Duo.
Beautiful.
Yeah, check us out.
Thank
You
you.
can we have videos on YouTube if you just search Sweet Misery, and you can either look for Kashmir or Rhiannon. We have 2 professional recording videos on there. Joe
We'll put some
Veers.
links to those, okay?
Yeah, Joe Veers recorded all the music, which I know you know Joe, just the best. And John Payne did both the videos. He's amazing as well. And we're actually, I think are we going to go in this fall and do a new cover?
I would love to.
I think we are. So trying to figure out what tune we're going to do. We've talked about an original. We've thought about trying to write an original or two and go do that. But I think we'll cut another cover first and then go do that.
Yeah.
Good plan.
Yeah.
Good plan.
And other than that, just check us out on. We've never done the whole Instagrams, the TikToks, none of that. I mean, I know a lot of bands are doing it. You can really get some eyeballs on you, but we, like I said, we're kind of playing what we want to play. But other than maybe a couple new venues here and there, we're having a blast doing what we're doing. So we don't really have to shove too hard, but we definitely want people. The more people we get to come out and watch us, the better. That we do want. So
Excellent.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's go see ya.
Awesome.
Yeah, come on out.
Get out there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of shows. Booked
And we're
up.
going to come out and see Megabeth for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And whatever you're doing, we'll come check that out as
The
well.
Liquor Talking just had Matt Stone's birthday party out at Theon's, which was a great show. Fantastic stuff. Just a fabulous cover band. Steely Dan, Billy Joel, etc. Elton John covers. Carole King. Beth did some Carole King.
love
It was just
Carole King.
Fabulous.
Yeah, that's all good stuff.
And Matt Stone. Jeez.
Yeah, no, Matt.
What a just a awesome force within Columbus music. He's just a phenomenal guy.
Yeah.
Great bass player, but he's also he's actually my bass teacher.
Wow.
Nice.
And what I'm involved in is with Gabrielle Johnson, a band called Soul Revival, playing bass, which has been a blast.
That's cool.
So learning
Yeah,
that.
we need to check some of that
Yes,
out when we
for
get a
sure.
chance, for
Fun
sure.
too. Yep. Yeah. So we're
Might have to move closer.
What's that, babe?
They might have to move closer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Come on in.
We'd love to
Come
get
on
up
in.
this way.
Wherever we live, we're just so used to driving. Like when you live in
Yeah.
the sticks, you just drive
Well,
everywhere you
it's
go.
your lifestyle, right?
I mean, we
You're-
can't we can't get to a mall without driving an hour. Whether we
About
go to
45
Lancaster,
minutes, yeah.
Zanesville, they're all 45 minutes to an hour. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
If I lived too close to a Roosters, I'd weigh 300 pounds because I would
Mm-hmm.
just live at Roosters. So it's a good thing I don't live very close to Roosters. It's like
He
my
is
favorite.
not lying.
That's okay.
Yeah. So
We
she
just have things
she makes
delivered here.
She makes us live in the
Food
sticks to
comes
keep
here.
me at a distance from Roosters.
Tommy likes roosters.
I do.
Oh man, that's cool. Let's get some wings
That's-
sometime.
that
man.
sounds great.
Just text me.
I will.
Let's do it.
Oh,
I
he
would
will.
absolutely do that.
I'll
You think
drive
I'm
to
joking?
New
I
Lex-
will.
No, I'll drive to New Lexington.
Well, there ain't no roosters in New Lex.
Well, wherever.
Okay.
Lancaster.
Or Lancaster.
Meet us
I'll
there,
meet.
yeah.
I'll meet you at
Ugly
the Pickerington one. We'll
Yeah,
go there
there you
sometime.
go.
Yep, good deal.
Yeah.
Oh, corner. Is it a corner or the corner?
The corner.
The corner this weekend. We're going to be there. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got great wings.
Oh.
Just saying.
Oh, I'm a fan of wings. So
That's all. It's all good. Episode number 104, Columbus Local Podcast. Thanks for listening.
thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bye bye.